I'm not saying these are the best games. Some will be blowouts, but these are the games I thought were the most interesting games.
Okay.
So week 1, Bills at Rams. So they raised the banner in Los Angeles at SoFi. I bet you it's half Bills fans. And Josh Allen against Matt Stafford. AFC powerhouse favorites, NFC powerhouse favorites. These are the 2 Super Bowl favorites. I think week 1, that's a great game. Also week 1, Broncos Seahawks. Russell Wilson comes back to face Pete Carroll. Now, I don't think this is... Now, Seattle will probably be pretty feisty early in the season. If these played in week 8, it'd be a blowout. But you think maybe in week 1, Russell comes back. Pete's got... they drafted pretty well defensively. Last couple years, they throw a little this at him, a little that. Maybe Denver's not quite all locked in offensively. Broncos at Seahawks. Then I go to week 3. Packers at the Buccaneers. So Brady has won 3 straight. This is, what's funny about this rivalry is that Aaron now can't beat old man Brady. Forget Brady in his prime when he was winning Super Bowls and Aaron was getting bounced out of the playoffs. Aaron can't beat old man Brady, which I think deep down bothers Aaron Rodgers. And this is the first big game of the year for Aaron Rodgers without Davante Adams. So I don't think Green Bay's in the Super Bowl window. And they're at Tampa. It's going to be a sweltering game late September in Tampa. How about week 6? Bills-Chiefs. Rematch of last year's divisional round overtime thriller. Best NFL game maybe in a decade. Bills now made improvements this offseason. Went and got Von Miller. The Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill. So Kansas City won't quite be as explosive, whereas I think Buffalo is going to be a better football team. I really do think Buffalo was the best team in the NFL last year. They just didn't win the Super Bowl. And I think Buffalo is going to win it this year. Week 13, this is getting very interesting. Chiefs at Joe Burrow and the Bengals. That's a rematch of the AFC Championship in which Cincinnati won. And, Burrow's now gone 2-0. This is something that's not to be taken lightly. Burrow and Cincinnati beat the Chiefs both times last year. Everybody remember that? Beat them both times. And I think Cincinnati has now better wide receivers. I think Cincinnati has an equal offensive line now because of their upgrades on the interior OL. And I think that the Bengals have a more consistent pass rush than Kansas City. I've told you, I think Kansas City makes the playoffs as a wild card team. How about week 14, Chiefs at the Broncos, Mahomes at Russell Wilson. This may end up being the best game of the year. Broncos home field advantage against the AFC West champs for the last 6 years. You'd think I'm a little anti-Kansas City. Not that the window's closed, but their schedule this year is brutal. At week 15, this one interests me. Patriots, Raiders, Belichick against Josh McDaniels. And I've told you before, Josh McDaniels leaving Mac Jones, I think McDaniels knows Mac has a ceiling, and it's not close to Herbert, Burrow, Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Russell Wilson. And I think Mahomes knows Derek Carr's a better quarterback, and now he's going to have better weapons. So people just thought Josh McDaniel, he'd been offered multiple jobs. But this Raider team is stacked offensively, and Derek Carr's better than Mac Jones. Not that it was a total indictment on Mac Jones, but it's a little indictment on Belichick's inability to draft skill people and Mac Jones' inability to do anything off script. So Patriots at the Raiders. Because for the record, a lot of people felt that Josh was going to get the job after Bill. But if you were the number 2 to Bill and you're like, we don't draft receivers well, it's becoming a receivers league, and I can go to Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller.
And who wants to replace Bill Belichick?
That's like replacing Howard Stern 15 years ago. What's the point?
At least if you're replacing Tom Brady at this point, there was a little bit of a bumper between you and Brady.
It sounds crazy to say this, but I don't think Kansas City is one of the best 3 teams. I'm not sure they're one of the best 3 teams in the AFC. I think Buffalo's better. I think Cincinnati beat them twice last year is better. I think Denver's going to be better. I think Kansas City is maybe the fourth best team. I'm not so sure they're significantly better than the Chargers. And it's not a shot on Kansas City. I think the AFC is so good.
I'm not ready to make the leap yet. They still have the experience, and they still got that guy.
You know the other team that I'm interested in? So Miami beat New England both times last year.
Yeah.
With really no offense. Well, now they have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle in a year two, Cedric Wilson, and way better running backs, and an offensive coach.
And an upgraded offensive line as well.
And the Patriots had a goofy draft. Belichick's calling plays. I told you this last year. I know it's not true, but it's almost like Belichick is sabotaging the Patriots. So when he leaves, they've got no skill players, none of his top assistants.
And they're bad for like a decade and makes them look great.
If you start looking at what he's doing,
he's very maniacal, Colin.
No, I know it's not true, but he's still bitter about the Jimmy Garoppolo thing. But the way I look at it is, Miami now has got better players.
He can't still be bitter about that.
Oh, God. People are bitter.
They won a championship.
People are Oklahoma's going to be bitter about Lincoln Riley for 20 years.
Look, I'm petty about a lot of things, but if someone overrules me and I end up, getting a ring out of it, I'll get over it.
Oh, I think they're I don't know.
Trade for him now then. They could have gotten Jimmy Garoppolo back.
I think it's really hard for people to acknowledge this. New England doesn't have good enough players anymore. They don't have it. Who's their best player? Who is the best player in New England?
Well, you're not going to catch me arguing for New England.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Their best player right now is it Dante? Or no, it's Matthew Judon, the rusher, who was invisible late in the year because he was worn down. They don't. I'm sorry, this whole it's like San Antonio when they let Kawhi Leonard go.
No, systems and cultures only work when you have players to put in them. Like, it's better to have than be dysfunctional, but it still doesn't elevate you past not having talent.
The culture has been fantastic forever in Boston. I mean, they've had a great Miami's had a great culture, but Anthony Davis and the Lakers with a terrible culture in L.A. for the last 8 years won the championship. You got to have players. New England doesn't have any players. All right, there we go. We were going to do a Lincoln Riley story. We touched on it earlier, but I want to be very careful because they get very sensitive in Oklahoma. They're very snowflakey. I always thought Oklahoma was tough guys and oil guys and energy guys, and a lot of biceps and alpha, and they get really sensitive and snowflakey on Lincoln Riley. And
nobody likes to get dumped. That's not unique to Oklahoma.
And every time people get dumped, it's the way she left me. It's never the way she left you.
No.
If your wife says, I want out, it doesn't matter if it's morning, noon, night, pre-vacation, during vacation, post-vacation.
No, it's that they left. It's absolutely
that is the classic.
There are better ways to dump people.
But everybody...
And worse.
But you're always hurt, and you lash out, and you're emotional. Nobody gets told, I'm dumping you, and says, I'm overjoyed. In most cases. Well, I should say, in most cases. Unless you want it out. But, you get dumped, it hurts. Oklahoma's got their feelings hurt.
You're allowed to have feelings.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow on a Thursday live in LA. It's The Herd.